everyone, welcome back to our channel Go for Agriculture. So in today's video we'll be discussing about the 27 pesticides which were banned in India on May 14, 2020. So this is one of the major happenings or the major changes which were occurred in 2020. So if you're preparing for the UPSC and your optional subject is agriculture, then yes, this topic is most important for you at the UPSC level. Okay, so let's start with our lecture. So what are pesticides? So pesticides, they are the chemical compounds which are mainly allotted to kill the pest. So these pesticides, they are prepared artificially by the industries, means that prepared chemically by the industries just to kill the pest. So the pest can be the rodents, insects, fungi, weeds, anything. Okay, so in order to kill the rodents, we'll use the rodenticides. In order to kill the pest, like the insects, we'll use the insecticides. In order to kill the weeds, herbicides, and fungi, fungicides. Okay, not only to kill these, we'll use the pesticides in the public health management also. So how? So in case of public health management, in order to control the mosquitoes, so the government people, they will spray some sort of a gas, white smoke, right? So that white smoke is also a pesticide. And also we'll use them in agriculture, we all know that. Like the insecticides, like the herbicides, like the fungicides. So they are also pesticides. They are all pesticides. So we'll use them in the agriculture also. Okay. So the next is usage pattern in India. So what is the percentage of pesticides used in India? So India is the second largest pesticide manufacturer. So if we see the state-wise usage of pesticide in India, so in this picture you can see the West Bengal uses the 5% and Haryana 5%, Gujarat is 7% and Karnataka 7%, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh are 8%, Punjab 11%, Maharashtra 13%, Tamil Nadu 5%, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana 24%, and other states they use 15% of the pesticides. Okay, so if we see the pesticide manufacturer in the worldwide, it has the second place. And if we see the pesticide usage, it's only of just 1%. The global usage is just 1%, but the manufacturing percentage or the manufacturing state is second largest pesticide manufacturer in India. Okay, so and if we see the insecticides, they occupy the largest portion of consumption in India, like 75% of the insecticides were used. And then fungicides, they are 12% and herbicides are just 10% in India. Okay, so the next we'll see how pesticide usage is regulated in India. So the first act which was passed is the Insecticides Act in 1968. So the main motto or the main process of this Insecticide Act is, first you should register what kind of the pesticide you want to prepare, and next if the registration is approved, you're allowed to manufacture it, and after manufacturing you can sell the pesticide. Alright, so now we'll see, like in this pesticide usage regulated in India, we'll see the process of the preparing of the pesticides to the selling of the pesticides. Okay, so first is, in order to introduce, like for example you want to prepare a pesticide. Okay, so in order to introduce a new pesticide, so first of all you should make an application form, like stating that I am going to prepare a pesticide, and you should give that to state and central levels. Okay, so you need to make an application at the state and central levels. So basically the new pesticides applications are approved by Central Insecticide Board. Okay, so your application will be approved by Central Insecticide Board. If it is approved, then your name of the pesticide and your industry will be named or will be added to the schedule of the Insecticides Act. So in this schedule of the Insecticide Act, so it basically contains what are the industries are there and what kind of pesticides are preparing, and also what kind of chemicals they are using to prepare the pesticide, etc, etc. Okay, so this schedule of Insecticides Act, it will want some kind of information about your pesticide. So that information is these 3 points. So the first is your formulation chemistry. So formulation chemistry means like for example, if you're preparing the pesticide like the baseline, okay, so that baseline contains what kind of a chemicals, like they will ask you to name the chemicals in which you have added and you prepared the baseline. So this is formulation chemistry, what kind of chemicals you added to prepare your pesticide. So this is the formulations chemistry. Next is toxicology report. So toxicology report means you have to submit a report stating that is there any kind of harm, like is there any kind of impact on the animals or the plants. It's like the harmful impact. So if there is any impact, then of course they won't. Like some conditions of course they will, because since this act was passed in 1968, so at that time their main aim is to just produce the food. So that's why at that time also, if there are any kind of minor harmful impacts on plants and animals also, they used to just give the permission. Okay, so first is formulations chemistry. Formulations chemistry means with what kind of substances you've prepared your pesticide, you should submit that. Next is your toxicology report, like is there any harmful impact on the plants or animals. This is second one. And third is how effective your molecule is on crops, like is it killing all the insects or the fungus or the or the weeds. Alright, so how effective is your pesticide is. So these 3 are the information you need to give when your pesticide is approved by Central Insecticidal Board. Okay, so next is the Central Insecticide Laboratory, like after you giving all the information, like what kind of substances you used. Alright, so after giving all kind of these substances, it will test your molecule. Okay, so after testing your molecule, it will be again looked by the experts. So these experts, they will give a deep look into that. So after approved by them, the FSSAI will be looking into that, like Food Safety and Standard Authority of India. It will be setting some limits only. Okay, so beyond these limits, if your pesticide is working on that, then your approval will be again cancelled. So if your pesticide is before these limits or up to the limits, then your pesticide will be approved. Okay, so after incorporation into the act, so the pesticide company can be applied for manufacturing the molecule. Okay, so once again I am repeating it. Okay, so in order to introduce a new pesticide, you should give an application to the state and the central levels. So if your new molecule is approved by the Central Insecticide Board, so in order to add your new molecule to the schedule of Insecticidal Act, you need to give them some information. So based on the information, like based on these 3 information you give them, they will conduct a test, laboratory test, and also some of the experts will come from outside and they'll have a look into that, and also the FSSAI will take a look. So if your molecule is up to the limits, then you are ready to manufacture it. Okay, so you have to manufacture it. And there's another term called Me Too registrations. So Me Too registrations means, like we all know there are some kind of pesticides, like for example, for consider there is a pesticide name A. So this pesticide name A has 2 kinds of molecules, A and B, small a and small b. So you're preparing that. So what I thought is, I am also preparing the same pesticides with the same molecules, but my trade name will be different. Okay, like for example, if your trade name is the car, for example, so my trade name can be lorry, but in there the molecules are same only. What molecules you are using to prepare your pesticide, the same molecule I am also preparing for the pesticide. So this preparing the pesticide with the same molecules is called as Me Too registrations. Means same, me too, I am also doing that. Okay, so this Me Too registrations, you should register that I am also preparing the same thing, but the same molecules, but with a different name. So if you get the approval, you are ready to go. means you should get the license for your company. Okay, so the next is, so the government streamlined changes to guidelines for testing the pesticides in 2015. So in 2015 a new law has come. So in this it has changed some rules regarding the toxicity, because just to reduce the harm on the animals during the testing. So when you prepare some kind of thing, you have to test it, right? Means basically we people will test on the animal. So in order to reduce the harm on those testing animals, so this government, it has changed the guidelines on the testing the pesticides toxicity in 2015. Okay, whereas in 2017 it has told that the pesticide and the fertilizer retailers, they must have a certificate or a degree in agriculture, because retailer, he should have a degree, because he should know how to do it, way to do it, etc. So he should have a degree. This is a new law which was passed in 2017, whereas in 2015 they have passed the pesticide toxicity in 2015, just to reduce the harm which is done on the animals during the testing. Okay, whereas in 2017 the pesticide and the fertilizer retailers, they must have a degree in agriculture certificate. So the next is issues. So till now we have seen the process of the insecticides, like if you want to manufacture it and to sell, what are the process you should follow. So now we will see issues on the Insecticides Act which were passed. So first is on the usage side. So the usage side means how the farmers are applying. So that is the usage side. So in this we have some problems like the regular preventive sprays. So in this they are not taking the account of the pest population. We all know the threshold level of pest population. We'll spray based on the pest population only. Like if you have the less number of pests, will you spray the more amount of pesticides? No, you will spray based on the level of pest. So this small information that the farmers, they don't know. They are literally spraying the pesticides, even though there are large amount of pests, or even the small, just 1 or 2 there also, they are spraying the large amount of pesticides. So what will happen? It will lead to environment degradation, right? It will lead to overuse. They are overly using the pesticides. So this is one of the issues. And the second issue is inappropriate selection of usage. So when we doing the mixing methods of some fertilizers, like sometimes we'll mix urea and the other compounds, so we should know the appropriate proportion of the two mixing of the compounds. Like for example, if you are mixing 2 compounds, alright, like compound A and compound B, so you should know how much to mix. If you mix them in the right proportions, then the use will be good and the result will be good. So if the farmers don't know this, and if they mix the substances in their own amounts, like in the unproportionate, unequal amounts, so what happens? It will lead to, again, it is like a issue, right? And the next is the use of appropriate personal gear is rare. Like basically when we do the pesticide sprays, so the farmer, they should wear a good protective clothes or some kind of mask, because when we inhale those pesticides, so it will lead to the health issues. So the protective gear should be there always with the farmers. So if you see any farmer wearing protective gear during the spraying of the pesticides, have you ever seen? No, it's really so rare. So this is one of the issue. And next is reliance of retailer for usage guidance. Sometimes the retailers, they don't know how much to use and how to use. So farmers, they're completely dependent on them. So like if the farmer going as a retailer, sir, how much I should use the urea. So even if they don't know also, they'll just say like use this, do it like 3 to 4 times a day. I know it's wrong, like we all know it's wrong, but even if they don't know also, they'll just say it. So this is wrong. So the farmers, they literally believe in the retailers and they'll use it. So what happens? Finally again, the crop will be destroyed due to overusage, or the environment will be degraded, right? So the retailers, like the farmers should not dependent on the retailers. If they want to depend on the retailers should know everything. That's why the retailer should have a degree certificate in agriculture. Okay, so these are the issues on the usage side. So next we'll see the issues on the regulation side, that's from the government side. Okay, so there's a loophole which is exploited by the manufacturers, like the herbicide manufacturers or the plant growth stimulators, because these retailers, they're literally selling the unregistered products. Because like when you're preparing a particular pesticide, you should register at the government, and then if they give you the approval, and then you're ready to go. It means you're ready to manufacture and sell it. But sometimes these retailers, they literally sell the unregistered products. So this means what happens, they are not approved by the government. If they're not approved by the government, we should not use it, because the farmers, they don't know like which is a registered, which is the unregistered ones, right? So this is where sometimes they will buy the unregistered ones, means which are not approved by the government. They'll use it, and sometimes they may lose the crop. So this happened in Maharashtra. So some farmers in Maharashtra, they used the unregistered kind of pesticides, so it did not work. So it may lead to over usage, or sometimes it may not work at all. So the same farmers, they'll do the suicide. So this is why we should always buy the registered ones only. Okay. So, and also in 2015, the unregistered or the misbranded pesticides, they are used, like the products account for 25%. So in 2015, a report says that the 25% of the pesticides which farmers were buying, they were unregistered ones only. Okay. And sometimes the Me Too registration also, it's like create a problem from the regulation side. So as the Me Too registration means preparing the same kind of pesticide only. So in this we have the problem is, since the people are preparing the same pesticide, the government, what it will do, it will be difficult for it to see what are its harmful impacts, because it's of same pesticide. It's of two types, like if the government is strict, it will be difficult for it to just have a look, because it's of same kind of pesticide only, but a small change in concentration of a molecule, it may lead to a huge difference, right? Like it may lead to a huge loss to the crop. So this is one of the difficult. And the second one is negligence of the government. So this can be happen. They may think, yeah, this is also the same pesticide, means same impact will be, so we have approved the previous one, so let's approve this also. So if they approve it, if it's the wrong one, if it's the harmful one, so what happens? The crop will die, and the farmers also will die, because their life is dependent on the crop. So this is why the Me Too registration should be taken a careful look. Okay. So the next is banning of the insecticides order. So we all know the insecticides order is banned in May 14, 2020. So we know that the insecticides order which was passed during the 1968, it is mainly because of the food production should be increased. We all know at that time the food production was a major priority. They were literally like, yeah, my crop should get a good yield, so I'll apply any kind of fertilizers or any kind of pesticides. At that time they didn't really care about the humans, we consume them, or the animals, or the environment. They just want a good yield. So this is the main motto behind the insecticides order, the previous one. But now why did the ban is to save the environment, to save the humans and animals, because we also consume the crops, right? So this is the main motto behind the banning of the insecticide order. Okay, so we all know it was banned in May 14, 2020. So, and also to ban the 27 pesticides in terms of import, manufacture, sale, transport, distribution and use. So like in the last slide I have listed all the 27 pesticides. Alright, so among all the 27 pesticides, this malathion is also one of them. So this is mainly used to control the locust attack, like currently being used to control the locust attack. Yes, it is doing a great job by controlling the locust, but it really failed in maintaining the human health or animal health or the environment. So that is why they banned it. Okay, so why these pesticides are being banned? One is their high toxicity. So this high toxicity caused the farmer death. So farmer death can be natural or sometimes suicide also. So if we say in case of suicide, it may due to the crop failure, right? So if we say in case of natural, it because of the pesticide when they do the foliar spray. So people, they won't wear the protection mask or the protection gear. So so if the farmers don't wear the protection gear, they will literally inhale the pesticide also. So that may leads to a death. So this is why, like the monocrotophos, methomyl, carbofuran, so these three are named as highly toxicity because this led to farmer deaths. And also they were categorized as extremely hazardous and highly hazardous by the World Health Organization. So this monocrotophos is banned in 112 countries including China and Pakistan also, because this is behind the farmer deaths in 2017 in Vidarbha, Maharashtra. Okay, and also if you see some of the pesticides like chlorpyrifos, quinalphos, and zineb, they are considered as the extremely harmful. If we see in between the 1970 and 2015, okay, 1970 and 2015, India, it has banned 34 insecticides, and they have withdrawn 7 and restricted the use of 13, because just to save the environment, the humans, the animals. So these three things are more important if we see from 1970 to 2015. So now we'll see the list of pesticides banned. So in this they include insecticides, herbicides and fungicides. So first we'll see the insecticides: the acephate, carbofuran, chlorpyrifos, deltamethrin, dicofol, dimethoate, malathion, methomyl, quinalphos, monocrotophos, thiodicarb, benfuracarb and atrazine. So these are the insecticides which were banned. Next we'll see the herbicides: butachlor, 2,4-D, duron, oxyfluorophane, pendimethalin, sulfosulfuron, captain, up to sulfosulfuron are the herbicides. And if you see the fungicides, they are the captain, mancozeb, thiophanate methyl, thiram, zineb, carbendazim, ziram and dinocab. So these are the insecticides, herbicides and fungicides which were banned, and these are the 27 pesticides as a whole which were banned on May 14, 2020. Next, final is the conclusion. So in this conclusion, what we get to know, what is the difference between the Insecticide Act which was introduced in 19th and what is the difference now? The difference is the protection, because the insecticide which was used during that period, their main aim is for the food production only. But now we are thinking about the environment, the human's life, the animal's life. So this is why we have banned all of these pesticides. Like some recent times, like if we say in case of Spanish, yes, the Spain, it have increased its biopesticide use. It has really upgraded. And also if we say Kenya, it really introduced the push-pull theory, like the push-pull polycropping. So we India, we also should improve towards the integrated pest management, not towards the chemical fertilizers or the pesticides which were used chemically. We should go through the biologically made ones. Okay, so the current proposal to ban these 27 pesticides is the right direction. We all know that. Okay, so this is it, guys. In today's lecture, we've seen what are the 27 pesticides banned in this 2020 year. So as I've told you, this is one of the most important video for the UPSC level, because I've covered everything: what is pesticides, to why they are banned, and which of the pesticides are taken as extremely hazardous or highly hazardous, etc. So if you have any queries, you can ask us in the Instagram page, or you can comment in the comment section, and also you can download this PPT from our Telegram channel, Go for Agriculture.